Morning. Yesterday I received a package from Mr. Chris Robbins in the United States. It's down here. We're going to open it up and see what it is. I know what it is, but it might be a bit of fun for you. Now I noticed he's got written on here fragile. Just as a little anecdote, in the late 1980s I had a job as a temp worker working in the post office down in Milton Keynes. Anything marked fragile meant throw it. But no, everybody ignores it anyway, nobody bothers with things like that. So let's have a look with what's in this box. There's an invoice here, but we'll take that off first because that might be important. Total weight, 35 pounds 67 ounces. That's interesting to know for the future. It's an early box, it's an early Adwest one. It's from a Range Rover, I do believe. And he said it's leaking. Leaking? Land Rover? I don't came up with. Anyway, that aside, what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to clean this up. It's not too bad. I don't think it needs sandblasting. It's kind of, you know, there's no real rust on it, but it is a bit dirty. So before we do anything, we're going to plug up these holes here where the pipes go in. And fortunately, in my scrap pile, I might have had a couple of pipes here with the right fittings in. Indeed I do. Why? Because what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut these, take these, you know, make sure these fittings are free. You see it's got a little O-ring on the bottom there. Cut these off and then with a welder just weld up the holes. So these are plugs to go into there, so if you have to do anything it's not going to get contaminated in here, because it's vitally important you don't get any dirt or muck in there. I did very much the same. I was going to do a video on this but I couldn't be bothered. Injector pipes. I had loads and loads and loads of injector pipes. So what I did was, I thought, but they're all rusty. Nobody wants rusty injector pipes. So what I did was I simply cut the pipes off. Alright, so I tied them onto top of an old injector. So there's the inside piece there of the pipe, you know, where the flare is. And then on the other side, I welded them and then put them in a, you know, vise and polished them up. So if you want any injectors, you can put those on as caps rather than those flimsy plastic things that usually fall off, like this thing here. Now he didn't tell me where this was leaking from. I would suspect it was from here. We can have a quick look, get rid of that seal. Now why am I showing you this? Because I was expecting this to be an Adwest heavyweight, because I was really wanting to do a video on a Land Rover heavyweight box. Adwest make two, and as far as I can understand, this is the lightweight 4-bolt top. What's the difference? The heavyweight had 3 bolts in. Well, they had 3 studs and nuts, I do believe. It's been a long, long time since I've seen one. But instead of having needle roller bearings in here and here, it had bushes, and that's it. There was nothing else different. But for some reason they dropped it and went onto this one. I did a little bit of reading and they said they called it a lightweight because it had an aluminium top on here. Pfft, I don't believe that for a minute. Anyway, listen, let me make these plugs up and then we'll come back. So there we are, a couple of plugs made. Not fantastic welding, doesn't matter because it was a bit oily, but remember to take the O-rings off first. That's pretty much straightforward. And now we know that they're a direct fit into there with a seal on, so that when we put this through either the parts washer or the sandblaster, we're not going to get any dirt and filth in there. So I'm just going to let this soak a little bit, and then I'm going to go and get some breakfast, and then we'll come back and we'll start to strip this down and see what's wrong with it. So here we are again. I've just got it out of the parts washer. It's a bit leaky oil out of there, but I don't think that's the place where it was leaking from. This has been rebuilt before. How can you tell? Well, look, this wasn't painted originally at the factory, it was just an aluminium cap. And you see there's a yellow marker on there to say that it was done, you know, and there's another one here that's not usually put on. And also a big giveaway is this pipe here that wasn't painted at the factory. You have to see a new one to see what they were looking like. So what we're going to do is take it a bit and see what's wrong with it. You can tell it's an early box because the later ones had a ring round here where you could put the bolt in at any position. This one here is dictated to by that flat on there. So what we're going to do first of all, do the tricky bit. We've got to get the spring out of here, the spring clip, this thing, because it's easier if we turn the shaft and pop the cover off, because although there's a lip inside where you could pull it, it's easier to do it like that. And if not, we can take this pipe off, get it out of the way, put compressed air out and pop the thing out. So let's pop the cap in further. There we go. Now the clip is here, and we need to tap this round, and that pin is too large. We need to get underneath it. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just bang this round a little bit, make sure it's loose. There you go. Now these, don't damage these springs because we've just found out that these are obsolete now. A lot of parts for these are getting obsolete. I wonder if I should grind that. I think I'll grind my point on here first. Right, so I've drilled it out just a little bit bigger. I've got a different punch so I can try and get at the back side of that and push that. Like that. See, it's a bit of a mess about, isn't it? Now we'll get a screwdriver and try and work that out. This is probably one of the worst jobs on these boxes. And tell you what we'll do. See, we've got that there. We'll punch this spring round a bit. You can see it sort of curling its way out. And there you go. That's that off. That's that out. Don't need any of them anymore. So now if we turn the shaft here, we should be able to pop that disc out. Right, here it goes. We'll turn the steering and see if we can pop that out. Not that way. There we go. There. So that's that bit out. That wasn't too bad. Right, I was just getting ready to take this apart and I thought I'd just give this a little bit of a turn here. And that feels not very nice. Feels a bit gritty. Oh dear. I'm going to take this pipe off just to get it out of the way. I'm going to use a crowfoot spanner on that because it is a tube nut. These boxes are a real mishmash of all sorts of bits and pieces, like different sizes. There's metric, there's inch. Like these are metric bolts going through here, these are inch fittings. The grub screw that we're going to take off in a minute, this one here, I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what size it is for the simple reason on my little set here it's not marked what it is. I'll write in the comments below, in the video below I'll measure it up when I get round to it, but I'll tell you what size it is. But it isn't, and it's not metric. It's, I think it's this one here. I have no idea what size it is. Now these are sometimes be tricky to get out, and this one isn't. This is tricky to get out. Warm it up. There is a little plastic button in there that holds this in. Beware, in the kit, the aftermarket cheapy kits, this isn't in. That's only to locate it on the thread, that little plastic bit, so that the grub screw doesn't bite into the thread and make it equally difficult to get out. So that's that done. We'll take that out in a minute. I just wanted to get rid of that first, where I was a bit concerned about how it turned. The next thing, we're going to take a punch, take this locking ring off. I use a punch on that because there's no other way of doing it. It shouldn't be tight. There you go. Take that off. Now, should we take that out? Now, I made a box of all my bits for these steering boxes, but with me tidying up, and I don't know where the hell I put all my bits and pieces. I think it's in the container. Let me go and see. Indeed, in my tidying up, I've got a box to put all my things in. So just 19mm now. There we go. Rust. Back in the tick. Next we're going to take off this nut. That's 19mm, so whilst we've got the 19mm out, we'll take this nut off. There we go. Again, in the cheaper kits, we've mentioned this before, that this nut isn't included. This is a horrendous price if you want to buy these individually from Land Rover. Now this one's particularly knackered because most of it stayed in here and it's snapped off, so that's useless. So we're going to have to put an OEM kit in this. Probably will do anyway. We need an Allen key in there. Now some of these later ones are Allen keys, the later ones were Torx. But it seems as if somebody's put silicone in there, so I've got to get that out. Yeah, that's Torx. It's I do like my airline over there, it's so much easier to get to. Okay, so we're going to take those 15mm off properly. Now, need to get an Allen key for that. Now that is metric. And this should push the cap off. Take that all the way. There's no damage to the bearing. Usually I don't touch these bearings, there's nothing much wrong with them at all. So that's alright, isn't it? So the next thing we've got to do, we'll take that screw out of there. Yeah, we might as well do that job while we're at it because that's usually a bit tricky. Right, we'll see if we can get this screw out. Might come out, might not. Oh, look at that. Brilliant. Some gungy stuff in there. Now there is a little piece in there that we need to get out. I need to get a magnet. There we go. It's just a little slipper to keep the tension on the rack. Now what I'm going to do now is turn this steering round and I'm going to show you how we take this apart. We need a rubber mallet. we turn the steering so that the worm is in a certain position. Now this is an old box, so let me take the camera off and I'll show you. So here we go. This is a bird's eye view. That roller has to line up with that slot, and you do that by turning this till that lines up. Now the later boxes had a bigger slot here. They were a lot bigger. So once we've got that lined up, then we can take our rubber mallet and bang the shaft up. Rubber hammer. Oh, that didn't take it enough, did it? Oh, actually, what a surprise! The shaft's kind of good. Where's me paper towel on here? Oh, look at that! What a beauty! Not a mark on it. Oh, excellent! That saved us a lot of messing about. Now the next thing, I'm going to take the worm out. And again, this is another one of those things we have to check, because that sounds awfully nasty. Now you're wondering why I did it like that. That was to take off the dust cover. Now, when we come to put the seals in, I'll tell you something about these things here. I'll keep it for a secret for a minute. So, we retrieve the bearing and the outer race, keep them together. And next we're going to have a look at the worm. Most importantly, we need to look at the surface here. Now, you know when I said it was rough? It's knackered. Can you see? I've got some pictures I took with a microscope camera a few weeks ago, but that's finished, and they can't put a new bloody piece on it. That's the problem. So we've got a good shaft. But this is knackered. I could tell when I listened to the bearings turning. So, do we proceed? Well, I'm not sure now. I did say this to the customer. In fact, I wrote to him and I said, what did I write to say? It's simple as research. If the vertical main shaft is one, we have a way of salvaging them. I'll tell you about that in another box that we can salvage. If the worm gear is damaged, they have to be replaced. This is $2,500 for that. Surely somebody must have found a way to do something with them. But when I was listening to it turning, you could hear it was rough. And if anybody's got any suggestions what I could do with this apart from throw it away, because it seems to be like a welded on bearing race here. I'll put it down here. It seems down here. It seems to be welded on. This one's fine, and it's always good here. It's always there. I don't know. Somebody somewhere must know how to fix them. If it's been manufactured in such a way, then it's really should be easy to fix. This is kind of easy to see here. There's a pin, a tapered pin that goes through here. There. So that side's larger than that side, so the pin pops out through that. Once you've got that out, you can take the inner torque shaft out, because you can see here there's an inner shaft in this outer spline. So before you do anything, you've got to take all that apart, because there's actually rubber seals inside there just to make life just a bit more interesting for welding. So we're going to have to put this video together, show the customer and say it's toast. Damn. Mind you, that said, these boxes, this will be probably a very early box. They've been making these Adwest boxes 44 years now. And you know, we always sort of bitch on about Chinese parts, etc. Why can't the bloody Chinese just make that bit? That's what we want. That's all we want, is that bit. You know, or maybe the main shaft. Yeah, because the bearings are good. It's a good casing, good shaft. Problems, eh? These are getting very few and far between to find out that they're any good or not. Anyway, I won't rattle on much more. Let's put this video together and let the customers decide what to do.